Two cucumber plants. Same garden, same soil, same water. One was dead before August. The other was still producing in September. The heirloom died. The hybrid kept feeding you. And no, that hybrid was not a GMO. There is no such thing as a GMO cucumber seed. That non-GMO label? It is selling you peace of mind for something that was never a threat. Here is the short answer. If you garden in a humid zone, especially zones 6 through 9 east of the Rockies, buy the hybrid Diva. If you garden somewhere dry or you want to save seeds, buy Marketmore 76. If you are brand new and overwhelmed, Marketmore 76 is the safest first pick. Drop your state or zone in the comments, because your zip code changes this entire conversation. You planted a straight 8 cucumber in June. Good heirloom variety. A lot of gardeners start there. The vine looked perfect for about 5 weeks. Then in mid-July, you noticed white spots on the lower leaves. By the end of July, every single leaf was coated in what looked like someone had dusted your plant with flour. That is powdery mildew. And on cucumber, it moves fast. The spores land on the leaf surface, punch through the outer cells, and start feeding. Your leaf stops making energy. The plant pulls everything it has away from fruit production and into survival mode. 2 weeks. That is all it takes in a humid summer. 2 weeks from the first white patch to a plant that is done producing. Your straight 8 was dead by August. 0 cucumbers. That is why disease resistance matters more than the word heirloom on the packet. You did not underwater it. You did not over-fertilize it. You did nothing wrong. Powdery mildew travels on wind. If you garden anywhere in the southeast, zones 7 through 9, the mid-Atlantic, or the humid parts of the Midwest, your cucumber is sitting in the crosshairs every single summer. Cucumber catches powdery mildew worse than almost anything else in your garden. Powdery mildew is the disease that knocks out cucumbers fastest in a lot of humid home gardens east of the Rockies. Now here is what nobody puts together. 3 feet away from that dead straight 8, you planted a hybrid cucumber called Diva. Same bed, same soil, same water schedule. Diva is still green, still producing, still pumping out 6 to 8 inch cucumbers in September, while your heirloom is compost. Diva carries built-in resistance to powdery mildew, scab, and cucumber mosaic virus. That resistance was bred into the seed before you ever opened the packet. A breeder picked one parent plant that fights off disease and another parent that sets heavy fruit, crossed them on purpose. The offspring got both traits. That cross is what the word hybrid means on the seed packet. No laboratory, no gene editing, just 2 strong parents and 1 deliberate cross. And if the word hybrid still makes you nervous, remember what we cleared up at the top. Diva is not GMO. For cucumber, that non-GMO label is marketing, not protection. But Diva can do one more thing your heirloom cannot. Diva is parthenocarpic. It sets fruit without any pollinator. No bees needed. You grow Diva on an apartment balcony 10 floors up, in a greenhouse with the doors shut, in a container on a patio, in a neighborhood where pollinators are scarce. Full harvest, straight 8, lemon cucumber, Boston pickling. The common heirlooms most people buy. They need bees to set fruit. No bees visiting your flowers means no cucumbers. Period. If you are growing in a container or anywhere bees rarely show up, that is not a small bonus. That is the buying decision. If you garden in the dry west, though, zones 8 through 10, where humidity stays low all summer, powdery mildew is not the monster it is east of the Rockies. Your heirloom has a real shot at surviving the whole season out there. Everything I just said about powdery mildew killing your plant, that is mostly a humid zone problem. Everyone talks about hybrid versus heirloom like it is the same argument for every vegetable. For cucumber, it is a completely different conversation. If that just saved you from watching your cucumber die without knowing why, subscribe. Every week, I compare the seed packet claims against what actually survives in a real garden, so you do not lose a full season learning it the hard way. So Diva is a beast. But Diva cannot give you one thing: free seeds. Forever. You grow a Marketmore 76 cucumber. Good season. Strong plant. At the end of summer, you leave 2 cucumbers on the vine until they turn completely yellow and soft. You cut them open, scoop the seeds into a cup of water, and let them sit for 2 to 3 days. The good seeds sink to the bottom. The pulp floats. You rinse them off, spread them flat on a paper towel, let them dry, and slide them into a paper envelope. Store that envelope somewhere cool and dark. 5 minutes of work. That is next year's cucumber patch. Those seeds stay viable for 5 years or more. Next spring, you plant those saved seeds. The plants come up looking exactly like what you grew last year. Same size fruit, same flavor, same 8 to 9 inch dark green slicers. Year after that, same thing. That sandwich bag of seeds in your drawer is 3 years of free cucumbers. No company involved, no packet to buy. That is real independence. And Marketmore 76 is not some fragile heirloom that falls apart at the first sign of trouble. Cornell bred this variety. It carries resistance to angular leaf spot, anthracnose, cucumber mosaic virus, downy mildew, powdery mildew, and scab. That is a disease resistance list that rivals most hybrids on the shelf. Zones 4 through 12. Space them 18 to 24 inches apart on a trellis, and they will produce for months. I almost skipped Marketmore 76 when I was putting this together. It sounded boring. Then I looked at the disease resistance data from Cornell and the seed-saving track record. It is the quiet pick that does everything right. Now try the same thing with Diva. You save the seeds, you dry them, you plant them next spring, and every single plant comes out different. One vine is tall, one is short. One fruit is bitter, the next one barely sets at all. A few of those plants lose the parthenocarpic trait entirely, so now they need bees to fruit, and if you are growing on a balcony, you get nothing. Diva is an F1 hybrid. First generation from 2 specific parent plants. When you save seeds from an F1, those seeds are the second generation. The genetic hand gets reshuffled. It is like being dealt a perfect poker hand, then shuffling the deck and drawing again. The cards are all still in there, but the combination that made Diva what it is broke apart. That is why every hybrid packet tells you to buy fresh seed each year. So Heirloom gives you seeds forever. Hybrid gives you disease resistance and no bee fruiting. Pick one and give something up, right? Not exactly. Because cucumber is fast enough to give you a second chance in the same season, 50 to 65 days from seed to harvest. If powdery mildew wipes out your heirloom planting in mid-July, you are not done. You replant the first week of July, and you are still pulling cucumbers before September. Before first frost in most of zones 5 through 8. That speed is your backup plan. A failed first planting is a setback, not a disaster. You replant and you still eat cucumbers before fall. If you want pickles, National Pickling Heirloom does the job. Prolific. 6-inch fruit, 55 days to harvest. Space them 12 inches apart. Save seed from that one the same way. So Heirloom saves you free seeds forever, and Hybrid gives you insurance against disease. The question is, which one actually puts more food on your table after 3 years? Forget the labels for a second. Forget the packaging. The only number that matters is how many cucumbers you actually eat. 2 gardeners, both in Zone 7, Mid-Atlantic. Both planting 4 cucumber plants every spring. 3 years, 2 paths. Gardener A picks straight 8 Heirloom. Year 1, she buys 1 packet. Plants go in the ground in June. By mid-July, powdery mildew takes out 2 of the 4. The remaining 2 limp along and produce light. She replants 4 more in early July. The second round gives her some cucumbers before September, but it is a short window, and the mildew is still in the air. She works the garden twice. She harvests about half of what she hoped for. Year 2. Her seeds are free. She saved them. But the same cycle plays out. Mildew arrives on schedule. She replants again. Double the planting, double the watering, double the work. Harvest is still middling. Year 3. Free seeds again. Same story. Gardener B picks Diva hybrid. Year 1. She buys 1 packet. Plants go in. All 4 stay healthy the entire season because the mildew resistance is bred into the seed. She does not need to replant. She does not need bees. 1 planting, 1 round of care, cucumbers from July to first frost. Year 2. She buys a new packet. Same result. Year 3. Same thing. Over 3 years, Gardener A spent less on seeds, but she planted 6 rounds while Gardener B planted 3. She watered and weeded twice as many beds, and after all that extra work, she still ended up with fewer cucumbers on the table. The seed price gap is small compared to losing 4 plants in July. Even if the hybrid packet costs more, one surviving plant pays back that difference fast. I ran this comparison 3 ways: humid zone, dry zone, disease-prone heirloom, disease-resistant heirloom. The thing that mattered every time was disease pressure, not seed price. I want to be straight with you, though. If you pick the right heirloom, the gap shrinks. Marketmore 76 has enough disease resistance that it survives humid summers better than most heirlooms. The worst case in this math is the gardener who grabs a disease-prone heirloom in a high humidity zone without knowing what she is walking into. Swap straight 8 for Marketmore 76, and the numbers look very different. And if you garden west of the Rockies, where humidity stays low, the math flips entirely. Your heirloom lives all season. Seed saving adds up year after year. Heirloom wins, and it is not close. The cheapest seed is not the one with the lowest price on the shelf. It is the one that actually gives you cucumbers. The answer is not hybrid or heirloom. The answer is your zip code. You came in with 5 confusing words on a seed packet. You are leaving with 3 cucumber names, 1 zone rule, and fewer wasted packets in your drawer. Stop choosing seeds based on which label makes you feel safe. Choose based on your zone, your pollinators, and how much time you actually have on a Saturday. Humid zone east of the Rockies. Go Diva hybrid. Dry zone, or you want to save seeds? Go Marketmore 76. Brand new and overwhelmed? Go Marketmore 76. Any zone. Tell me in the comments which pick you are going with. Diva, Marketmore 76, or both. Drop your zone so I can see who is where. And think of the person in your life who will not touch a hybrid seed because they think it means GMO. The one who lost a whole crop of cucumbers last summer and still does not know why. Send them this video. No message needed, just the link.